Hello, you cute second graders. We sure miss seeing your faces. All of you cutie patooties. It's kind of weird for us teachers to be at school without you, so we sure miss you. I hope everything's going well at your house and you're enjoying your learning online. This is something completely new and different for not just us as teachers, but for all of you guys too. So anyway, today I'm going to read you another story. And this one is kind of similar to the one I just read you, but it's another version. So I love that that's one cool thing about fairy tales, is that you can have your base story and then there's all these other versions of it, which is what makes fairy tales kind of really cool and unique. So again, I have my glove. Let's remember that we want to be thinking about the characters. We want to be thinking about the setting. Where does the story take place? We want to be thinking about the events in the story. We want to think about how the story ends. And then also, is there a problem and how does it get resolved, or how do they fix the problem? That's what the Band-Aids are for, to kind of help us remember that. So as I'm reading this story, I want you to be thinking about those things. Okay, so this story is called Waynetta and the Cornstalk. And this is a Texas fairy tale. So the state of Texas is in the United States. It's below Utah, so if you look at a map, it's a state below Utah. Here's the front cover of it. It's backwards to you guys, I'm sorry. But that's the fun picture you see there. Once, a whip of a girl named Waynetta lived with her ma on a ranch in the poorest, scrubbiest part of Texas. They worked hard as 8-legged mules, but barely scraped by. One long, dry summer, the well bottomed out, and the pastures dried up, and the longhorn cattle got so thin it took 3 of them standing together to cast a shadow. Waynetta and her ma had to sell off the longhorns until only one was left. Finally, Ma gave up altogether. "We've run out of money to buy feed, Waynetta. You'd best sell that last critter, for it starves." Waynetta headed out with the longhorn. Now, if you've never heard of a longhorn, it is a type of cow. There's the pictures. Hopefully already you're starting to say, hey, this kind of sounds familiar. After a while, she met a stranger. "Howdy, missy," he said. "Where are you taking that sorry-looking critter?" "I aim to sell him," Waynetta answered. "How about trading him for a handful of magic corn?" asked the stranger. "Magic corn?" asked Waynetta. "What does it do?" "These corn kernels will bring you good luck, little lady." "We sure could use some good luck," Waynetta said. "It's a deal." Do you guys think she made a good deal? We'll have to find out and see. When she got home, Waynetta dropped the kernels in Ma's hands. "Look," she said with a grin, "magic corn." Ma frowned. "You must be chuckle-headed, girl. The only magic this corn's got is a disappearing kind." She tossed them out the window. Waynetta felt lower than a coyote in a canyon. How could she make it up to Ma? The next morning, Waynetta looked out the window. A giant cornstalk blocked the sun. She hurried outside. "That looks like magic to me," she said, "and I aim to find some luck." She started climbing. That's a pretty big cornstalk, isn't it? When she broke through the clouds, Waynetta could hardly believe her eyes. There was the biggest ranch she'd ever seen. She walked to the front door. It was so huge she could barely reach over the doorstep. She gathered her courage and knocked. A giant woman opened the door. "Why, you're pretty as a blue bonnet. Where'd you come from?" "I climbed a giant cornstalk, ma'am," answered Waynetta. There's Waynetta if you look really closely. page. You can see little Waynetta behind the bowl there. The giant woman picked up Waynetta. I reckon you've come to take back the things my husband stole from your ma years ago. She set Waynetta on a giant-sized table. You'd best have a bite to eat, and be careful, darling. My husband's a mean one. Waynetta was chowing down on a great big chicken fried steak when a loud, angry voice called, Fee, fi, fo, fum. I think I smell a cowgirl brat. Fee, fi, fo, feet. Chicken fried cowgirl is what I'll eat. Hide, the giant woman whispered. Waynetta hid behind a bowl of beans just as the giant stomped into the room. It's a giant cowboy. The giant yanked open a pantry door. Out strolled a longhorn no bigger than a barn cat. He stroked its ear and a golden cow pat fell to the floor. I love gold, the giant shouted. Next, he took out a teeny lariat and whirled it backward over his head. He looped it around the thimble-sized bucket. I love this rope. It never misses. He dropped the rope on the floor, looped the bucket around his pinky, and climbed in this tub to soak. Soon, he fell asleep. Finally, he tilted the tiny bucket over a huge tub. Water poured into the tub, filling it. I love that bucket. It never runs out of water. But he's now snoozing in the tub. Waynetta took a deep breath. With those things and some hard work, Ma and I can make our own luck. Waynetta climbed off the table and tiptoed to the tub. She picked up the lariat and lassoed the longhorn, but when she tried to slip the bucket off the giant's pinky, he woke up. Waynetta hightailed it to the cornstalk and scrambled to the ground where Ma was waiting. Ma gasped. Why, that looks like my little longhorn missing all these years. She rubbed his ear and sure enough, a golden cow pat fell to the ground. It's him, Ma, said Waynetta. Now we can buy a new herd of cattle. Waynetta, darling, said Ma. Sometimes I wonder if that tuckle brain of yours is a bit short of filling. Gold or no gold, we can't raise cattle without water. That's why I'm going back up, Ma, to get the magic bucket. Waynetta hid the lariat under her hat and climbed the cornstalk again. The giant's wife let her in. I need that bucket, ma'am, said Waynetta. The giant woman nodded. Be extra careful. My husband's as mad as a fire ant. Kind of fun pictures, huh? From the hallway, the giant's voice thundered. Fee, fi, fo, fin. I smell that cowgirl brat again. Fee, fi, fo, fits. I'll cook myself some cowgirl grits. As the giant stormed into the kitchen, Waynetta ran right between his boots and grabbed the bucket. Well, if it ain't the seasoning for my grits, the giant shouted. He stomped after her. Waynetta raced the cornstalk. She was almost there when the giant grabbed her. I feel hungry and you look tasty, he roared. There's that one. You can see what Waynetta is doing to his nose. Waynetta whirled the lariat. Do your stuff, rope! She lassoed the giant's nose and tugged hard. Ah! Yelled the giant, dropping Waynetta. Waynetta leapt on the cornstalk. The giant climbed after her. Fee, fi, fo, foul, that cowgirl brat has had it now. Fee, fi, fo, few, that cowgirl's gonna be barbecued. Ma was waiting on the ground with the axe. "Bridle your jaw, mister," she shouted. "That cowgirl's my daughter." The instant Waynetta leapt off the cornstalk, Ma swung the axe and in 3 strong blows chopped that cornstalk down. Thwunk! The giant crashed to the ground, making a deep giant-shaped hole. Waynetta tipped the bucket over the hole. "I hope that giant can swim," she said. In no time, the hole became a fine lake. You see his crashing to the ground big hole that he made, and they're filling up with water. With plenty of water, grass grew on the ranch once again. With the golden cow patties, Waynetta and her mom bought a new herd of longhorns. As for the giant, he bonked his head so hard in the fall, it knocked the mean right out of him, and he and his wife stayed on the ranch and worked alongside Waynetta and her ma. That would be mighty helpful to have giants helping with chores at your house, wouldn't it? And they all lived happy as June bugs ever after. Okay, so now we want to think to ourselves about that retell. I want you guys to go find somebody in your house, and I want you to tell them the story of Waynetta and the Cornstalk, and hopefully you can compare it to the original fairy tale. And I'm not going to tell you which one that is, because I bet you guys can figure that out on your own. But remember, when you go find a person in your family, you want to tell them who the characters of the story were, tell them where the setting was. There were a couple places for the setting. Tell them the events that happened, tell them how the story started, what happened next, and then how the story ended. How did the story end? What was the very last part of it? And then what was the problem of the story? There was actually a couple of problems, but think about one main problem that we had. Problem of the story, and how did they solve it, or how was it fixed? What was the solution to the problem? Okay, second graders, we sure love you guys. I hope you enjoyed this story. Okay, see you later.